Hey, at least you didn't freeze that time.
Gosh, yeah. Oh, so welcome to round two of a little bit of R&R, same day, same great place, because we're trying to fit these in. My week got weird. Um,
Yeah.
we weren't able to quite dumpster this software yet, just because the other one sucked too.
Dumb.
So, um,
I'm sorry, Russ. That just hit me funny. I'm sorry. Just had the dumpster. Ooh.
hold on, I forgot to change my ticker.
Yes. Should we
Perfect.
just right in here? Ooh. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
we're gonna do kind of a quicker version, which actually shouldn't be that hard because there's only the two
No, we only
games.
had two games, and they were. Hey, look. I'm hoping we can say something somebody else hasn't. You know. Anyway.
It's been
Uh,
well, and it's funny because I literally put for us. Rob earlier had a little etch a sketch that I did 49ers. For you and I,
Nice.
it was the boy. This
Nice.
escalated quickly because the Niners
Yes.
game was
Woo.
it was like going from like 5-year-olds playing basketball to like the final game of the NCAA tournament because the first game was not. It was
Ugh.
entertaining, but KC was just kind of we're in charge. We
Well,
got
and
this
by the
covered.
way, yeah, and by the way, look, hats off to the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
Oh my word, those boys are legit.
I mean, it was only
And
17-10. It wasn't like they got
and
blown
by the way,
out.
and it sure looked like Mahomes could have done more than 17-10.
Yeah.
It
He
did, but every time they started to kind of even get a little, the Ravens defense would stand up. I think the big surprise was either the Chiefs defense or the Ravens offense. What do you think? Which one was it, or was it both?
honestly, so it's interesting. I love that you brought up the defense because what it felt like with Mahomes, it felt like what the Bills' plan was against KC. Listen, we're winning. Let's just not do something stupid. We have a great defense,
Oh,
which Bills
right.
do not. But the plan with the Bills was to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand.
Yeah.
And as you watch throughout that game, ironically, both second halves were the younger teams feeling the pressure and starting to fold.
Mm.
Zay Flowers, bad taunting penalty, then reaching out for the touchdown when he shouldn't have. Lamar with the bad pick.
Mm.
Their body language, right? They were pressing. What shocked me, and only to rabbit trail as a comparison, I had told my wife I thought for sure Shanahan cussed out the Niners at halftime. Nope, super quiet. Just Bosa on his back with a heat pad on his back, being like, guys, we're not going out like this. Just cover
Right.
the first read. We'll take just that like calm. Obviously, Purdy, I think, instills that in them that guys, we don't need to panic. We can come back from
Right.
this.
Well,
But
well, and the to your point though, I think the veterans are like that, and
yes,
it's so Purdy's a good fit like that.
yeah,
I
because
don't
he
know
just
that
doesn't
he's
get rattled.
necessarily, his personality fits there. Is I think a better analogy
What
for
his
him.
only
Anyway,
time he reacted was on the kneel down. Otherwise, like the dude didn't celebrate. Was just very like
yeah,
even
yeah.
Bosa
Well,
after one of his sacks didn't celebrate at all.
nope,
And
no,
counter that with Casey in Baltimore was chippy. Kelsey was trying to kind of get them to get, and they did. They got a stupid penalty. Ravens did not look like to me like the pressure they were ready for. They abandoned the run completely, which was
yeah.
bizarre.
Which
Lamar never
exactly?
ran. Purdy and Lamar had the same number of rushing
Didn't
yards.
they say they had like 6 rushing plays or some ridiculous thing?
Yes, it was that.
Somebody I
Yes,
listened to, and I'm like, what? KC look to me. This is just, yeah, like they stuck to their
hmm
plan regardless, right? They were going to run it when they need to run it. And by the way, Mahomes was absolutely no. I'm okay throwing this one away. It's
yes,
3rd and 9. I'm throwing this away. I'm not
he
forcing
was
something stupid.
surgical.
But there was a number of times that they went out, and I'm not always in 3, but let's say 7, right? And they just threw it away. They won the field
Yes,
position or field position battle. Um, anyway, I thought I just as good as Lamar looked the week before, and I get it. It was against a defense that is not Kansas City's defense, but
right. Total rushes. And
I
this is a
just
little misleading. Their main guy. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Between their two running backs, 6 carries. Lamar had 8. Their receiver had 2. They had 81 total rushing yards. They actually outgained the Chiefs. 336 yards.
But most of that is Lamar, right?
Well, and this is to me is actually like, and again, we keep saying it. I don't think Lamar. I don't think Mahomes gets enough credit for this. 30 for 39, 240 and a touchdown. While Lamar was 20 for 37.
Yeah, but if you do the math though, 30 into 270, it's like 8 yards.
Right. No, that's my point. Is Patrick Mahomes? His whole goal was, and this is what he's so good at. Again, when I was talking to Rob, it's Brady almost in reverse, beginning his career, like just ridiculous throw against the Niners.
Chuck it, yeah. Chuck it's 35 yards, not even a
This playoffs, Pacheco had 24 rushes for 68 yards. Obviously, 30 into 240 is 8 yards a pass, basically. Like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
He went, I trust my defense.
Yep.
We're winning, and if I need to, I will finish it.
And do not make a mistake, right?
Correct.
Do
like Lamar did.
Yeah, don't throw it to that Baltimore defense.
Nope. Don't give him a shot. Just
nope.
And this is what I think what makes him so tough to beat. I'm just going to beat a dead horse. He does not get enough credit for this. He is so good at just being efficient. I don't need to throw Mahomes. I don't need to throw 50 yards on the field.
I think that's maturity. To your point, I think 100%. It's absolute maturity. He goes, hey, if they're going to give me 8 yards, I'm going to take 8 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things, and I don't want to jump to the Niners game yet, but it's one of the things Purdy did.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, they're going to give me 10. They're going to give me 7 on a rush. Anyway, we won't go there yet, but I do want to talk about the Niners not abandoning the rush the way the Ravens did. I was just like,
it's a good comparison.
I think it was by the way, I do think it was one of the commentators that mentioned it in like the middle of the third quarter. They said, has Harbaugh just completely abandoned the run? And now I don't know, does he call their plays or do they have OC do it?
Frank Monken, I think, is there. And he actually is, but I think this is his first or second year. So he's a fresh OC. This was against Mahomes. In a weird way, it kind of reminded me of the Packers-Niners game without the Niners winning. So, obviously without the Ravens winning. Where it felt like, hey, I'm going to trust my star, but you didn't trust him in a way that you put him in the best chance to succeed. Because Lamar had opportunities to run and just flat out chose not to. And it was annoying. I wanted to be like, Lamar, you have room. Kind of like Purdy did, very selectively.
One of the best athletes on the field.
Making Fred Warner look stupid. It felt like, and I don't know this because, again, I get you're playing. You're not thinking.
He didn't look comfortable.
He didn't look comfortable, but it felt like he had to prove it with his arm. It really did, because he turned down and was holding it for so long, which has been good this year. But then it turned into negative plays. It turned into sacks, and this is why I picked the Ravens. Is I thought Lamar had shown that growth. I thought that defense has shown that growth. They pulled a Washington versus Michigan, got behind, then were never in rhythm. Even though they had their opportunities, their body language was bad. It was they wasted this opportunity.
I thought it would change at halftime, and it did not change at all.
Well, and their one chance, right, which would have essentially tied the game. We don't know what Mahomes would have done, but bad taunting penalty, fumble, and then the pick. Those were their shots, and they wasted it.
Well, and when you get, much to the credit of the Niners, you get to the big dance, those things normally kill you.
Yeah.
Right? Purdy throwing a bad pass. Yes, it was blocked at his hand. The guy still wasn't open. You and I talked about that in text.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. Other than that, I don't know where he would have been throwing it. But it it got stopped, so the ball definitely was
Now I did watch some film today. There was a window, but he was not open when he threw it. So with the pressure, he scooted, threw the timing off, window closed, made worse by the. And Robbie made the good point of, okay, if let's say he delivers it late, but with the same speed, maybe it's tipped and now a safety's got it. Maybe that's actually not better.
Right. I don't. But the point is, it was definitely a forced a little bit forced turnover by both the coverage
Mm-hmm.
and the defensive
They were getting
tackle
to
that
him
got his
constantly.
face. Yeah, I mean, they were trying to squish the pocket. Now, and so if you want to, I don't know, do you want to transition to the Niners?
Well, actually, I was going to say, you know what I forgot about? The strip
What?
sack on Lamar.
Oh
They were
yeah,
getting to him too, and actually, out of
yes.
curiosity, I don't believe, and this is an interesting comparison. Is I think San Francisco either tied or lost the turnover battle because I know there was a fumble. It had to have been tied. One pick on Purdy, fumble on the Lions. But Kansas City had 3 takeaways. I mean,
And by the way, somebody said they weren't all that great all year, even though they won a few times, losing the turnover battle. I think the color guy said. So I don't remember who did the game. I was turning it on and off as I was.
well,
Was doing.
you know what blew my mind, and this is really a testament to the Chiefs because I want to give them their credit, their flowers, whatever you call it, real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
3-0 is they were 0.6 points behind Ravens in terms of points per game, and in the last 3 games they're only allowing 13 points a game. So their defense, it was just such a masterful pivot by Kansas City. Hey, we can't pay stars on offense, so we're gonna focus on our defense, and it's come through in spades because their offense has just been okay. Their defense has kind of carried them all year, and their receivers have not been that great. Really, they've been the weak point of the team. But if I'm looking at team stats, yeah, 1-1, one interception versus 1 fumble. So Lions and Niners were at least tied there, and I think it's okay to transition because honestly, I don't feel like I learned a ton. I feel like, especially when Rob and I talked, we just kind of hammered home the point that it was a missed opportunity for the Ravens. But I will say, I'll bet you the Lions, feel the same in that they felt like they let one slip right through their fingers. I mean, it's one of the biggest comebacks in NFC Championship history. Is it'd be down 17.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Excuse me, choke on spit at half.
Yeah. Yes. And now I told you, as I was sitting there in the second quarter, and I'm thinking, you know what, this sucks if you're a Niners fan or player.
Yeah.
But and Rob and Russ both know me. I'm inside just going crazy. I was not. I don't know why. Right. I'm a second Niner fan. I'm a Seahawks fan first. And then I was in the Bay Area for a bunch of years for Joe and Steve and company. So I became quite the Niner fan behind the scenes. And then when they put them in the same division, I had to, it was tough. Anyway, I just felt like the better team was just not playing like they could. And I thought at any moment the page will turn and the young team will panic. And the young team panicked. Right?
Drops, fumbles.
Goff did not panic, by the way. He did what Goff does, but you want to talk about game manager. I mean, I think it's funny. I don't know did you watch the clips I sent you?
Yeah.
Where all the different Niners were using the game manager term. It was Pat's show, and I was laughing so hard. I was like, way to go, guys. It reminded me of Lynch doing all the interviews, post-game interviews, and guys that come into the interview for him, right? Keep him from getting fined.
Well, it says a lot of what they think about him, right? Because they defended
absolutely.
Jimmy.
Well,
this is a different level of defense.
Yeah. This is like, well, in the interview, the second one I sent was the interview, I think, where they were interviewing the fullback. Juszczyk. And he goes, you guys just don't understand this kid. You just don't understand. He's the last one to leave the room. He's doing the extra work. He respects every veteran in the place. He doesn't even feel like he deserves to be there. I mean, by his actions in a humility way, right? You guys don't know, right? Like you said, the first emotion he had is on a kneel down.
Right.
Right? And the other guys, I don't remember who they were, flipping off the crowd, doing the wave as he's, before halftime, like we've
Charles
got
Lucas
this. And I'm
flipped
like,
him off.
how
and
long
then
have you
CJ
played football?
CJ Garner-Johnson was waving at halftime. Yeah, that's.
I'm just like, are you guys nuts? Anyway, that to me illustrated the mental toughness. And then when the Niners got the going, right? They came down, and did you listen to Shanahan's post game?
Yeah.
And he said, "Look, we wanted 7. We didn't get 7. We got 3, and that was kind of a disappointment, I think, is how he put it." And then when they went for 4th down, by the way, and I'm not going to beat the man up for his 4th down choices because, by the way, they had opportunities to convert both of those.
Yeah, they were open. There were absolutely opportunities.
Well, the second one, that would have been a Mahomes throw and a ridiculous receiver coming back for it, right? The guy really wasn't open. If he threw it where he was, there was a cornerback in the way. But anyway.
Well, and he had to throw it over Warner, and Warner did a good job.
Yeah, it was a tough deal, and he was going to the right, throwing back a little bit. Anyway, my point being, I don't think they were the right call. They probably should have run it with the bulldozer that they have. Is it number 5?
Gibbs.
They combined for 1,000 yards.
Their running backs are
right. Legit, right? So for the Niners to get in the right gaps to start going, no, you're not running on us anymore. And somebody once said, it could have been John Madden, the run offense and the run defense is a matter of heart.
100%. Why do you think I kept texting pathetic? Because to me, that's pathetic.
To it. If you're not committed to run, you won't play it.
You have to want it. You just do. You have to want it.
It's trench warfare, hand to hand. Anyway.
Now,
and I did want to talk. So I kept forgetting to text you one thing, and I think I finally did. So on the off the face mask reception, that guy, you saw the flag fly in. He stopped. It was at Ayuk. His forward progress, or 100%. That ball would have been right here for Ayuk.
Right. Well, I don't know why no one's mentioned it.
It was a lucky bounce. It was still going to be a damn penalty
on
like the 12-yard line or whatever. That was a phenomenal throw.
Yeah.
And it would have been right on the money, except the guy smushes into Ayuk and then runs after the ball and looks like a hero. And everybody, it's like, did you guys not watch the film?
Well, no one mentioned it. It's really weird.
Not at all. And I'm like, guys, I was yelling at the TV, which, I don't ever do, that they just totally missed it, right? It was like I watched, and just so everybody knows, Russ and I are texting back and forth, and I'm like, or was it Marco? Nobody was talking about the Niners' performance.
No,
everybody was stuck on the 4th downs. That's one. The lucky break on Ayuk, which was bullcrap. It was, it was an absolute. Oh shoot, that's my doctor. He'll have to go to voicemail. My back still hurts, and I'm like in a different place. So I was trying to get in to see somebody. But anyway, so to me, and then that. Was it 3rd down where he literally got out of trouble and threw it to Juszczyk with the 2 toes?
Impressive.
I'm sorry. Every throw he threw in the second half, including the little whoop over the guy, because the film that I sent you, that guy's awesome, by the way. Tape room, whatever he calls it. He saw the guy coming back that was going to literally be between him and the guy he was throwing it to. So he actually threw it over the guy, and the guy flailing in the air to try to get it. And then that bullet in the end zone looked like the Joe Montana. And I'm not comparing him to Joe. I'm just saying, if you look at the touchdown pass to John Taylor, it literally goes like 2 trains going side by side, and it goes right. And that was this exact same throw. And I was like, okay, that was.
No, my favorite.
And then the out to Ayuk, and then the whatever they call the route that to the tight end where he faked and just butchered the guy. I mean, if the guy hadn't, I thought he was going to fall down. He was so fooled on the in route, right?
Yeah. And
then Purdy had the ball thrown before he even turned.
My favorite was when he got destroyed and threw it to Debo earlier in the game.
And absolutely got plowed
because
that's good in.
That's the difference. And I hate doing this because I don't like comparing people because people have different ceilings and different floors and different journeys. I still believe Jimmy would be a much better quarterback if he didn't get injured because it just destroys you as a player. However, Last 2 games, Purdy won. Like, I get it. He almost threw 2 picks to the Packers. We weren't playing good to begin with, so let's not act like he was the outlier.
No, the defense sucked. In this game, the defense sucked. I don't know. I don't know who was playing on defense. I actually saw on one of the long runs, Bosa literally not even running after.
Well, I was telling Rob, I think
what the heck was that?
I think he's having some back spasms because, in fact, in halftime he was laying down with a heating pad. Tells me he's not. And in the second quarter second half, it was all effort because he got 2 sacks and was
yes, he did.
Was a
the fake with the linebacker where
Greenlaw.
He faked a rush and the tackle took him. Yeah, Greenlaw, exactly. Well, here's the other thing. Look, I think Greenlaw and Warner basically put the defense on their back and said, boys, here we go. Some of the hits they had on the running back in the hole that they didn't have in the first half, I went, those boys, like you said at halftime, we ain't going out like this.
Right.
We're not laying down and going out like this. And then, Mo swung, right? The 4th down, and then they go down and score. Then they 3 and out, I think. Then they go down and score. It's all tied up at the end of the 3rd quarter.
They, on their last 10 possessions in the second half, have scored on 8 of them. And again, that's why I say this is all Purdy. We don't win either of those games with Jimmy Garoppolo. We don't. And I want to know what Trey Lance is going to be. At this point, we would not have won those games.
We have no idea, right?
But from what I've been seeing of Purdy, it's the thing you can't quantify.
It's the thing they said he couldn't do, by the way.
It's the thing that made Brady so dangerous and makes Mahomes so dangerous.
By the way, it's look, Joe Montana. Look, I'm not saying he's Joe Montana. Please, everybody. I'm not saying that. But if you look at every single Joe Montana memory it's him coming from nowhere. He brought him back for the Sugar Bowl or whatever it was with Notre Dame. Out of nowhere. Skinny kid, looks like this pen, basically. Skinny kid comes out of nowhere, right? I think you quoted his first 3 years were, pretty sucky, right? Well, and then when they win in 89, and then all of a sudden, Joe comes back in like almost every regular season game. They were a heart attack watching those guys. Right? And just his engineered drives from like his own 2-yard line, that whole – I mean, it's just, if you go back and watch film of Joe Montana, the number of times he literally set the standard of coming back out of nowhere, right?
Right.
When if you want to talk about the greatest scramblers in the history of football, you talk about Fran Tarkenton. The guy was running for his life his entire career. And yet he did stuff running that nobody ever did. I don't even know. He would look like Barry Sanders as a quarterback, right? But that being said, right, then you talk about great drop back guys like Fouts and Marino and even the guy at Pittsburgh, Bradshaw, but also the Big Ben, right? Big Ben would just stand there, people hanging off his arm, and he throws it 60 yards, right? Looks like a tree back there, right? But then you talk about the guys that can move in the pocket. He moved on one, just moved over like 2 steps and drilled that thing in the end zone for a TD. Right, the one where he slips out and the guy had him by the head, and I don't know why no one's talked about this. He makes the dude jump because he literally does one of these, and the guy lunges for him. It's aerial,
so he's able to duck
pump
under.
Fake, pump fake.
It's what made the play. Now, 2 things. One, it says a lot that, and I still don't agree with it. Shanahan had him throw it 39 times last game, but.
Yeah, but I told you this. The thing that amazed me is how he stuck to the run.
Yeah.
He, in the second half, and they were getting like 2 yards a run. And
right, that's the difference. That's what I'm saying.
McCaffrey was running into a brick wall, right?
That's what I'm saying. So
Shanahan stuck.
In this game.
And then all of a sudden it was 5 yards and 7 yards. And then the play
25-yard one to end the game.
So the film guy I sent you, if you watch those linebackers, did they bite? Holy Toledo. I thought they were going to have to go, oops, we're in no man land, come after Brock. Because they were so tight on the play fake, and Brock's great. Brock has great hands for the play fake, right? You almost have to in the NFL anymore. But some guys, in my opinion, are better at it. Some guys actually put their hand out there and make it look like they hand it off. Those guys, they were nowhere to be found on crossing runs because of the play fake. But play fake doesn't work if you're not running.
No.
Right? In the first game, Lamar could have done, he's got, by the way, great hands as well. actually better footwork, but good hands. He could have done a play fake. Nobody would have bought it because they weren't running anywhere, anytime. What, like you said, they ran six actual plays, right? Anyway,
but with the Niners, real quick, 20 for 31 for Purdy, 20 rushes crazy for McCaffrey, 4 from Eli Mitchell, 3 for Debo, and then 1 with Kyle Juszczyk for a little. But that's not including Purdy.
And how many for Purdy? How many?
5.
3? 5. How many yards?
Well, technically 3 because he had a couple kneel downs. So
Oh yeah. But 3 that were literally third down, get a first down.
Long of 21. He almost went as long as Christian McCaffrey. So 31 passes to 28 rushing. Way better than last game. Way better. It was the difference with the Ravens. Ravens basically going, we got to score. Niners were like, well, no, listen, we got this. Let's just do what we do.
To your point, I think the Ravens thought they were going to be in a road race.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Ravens defense, man. You held
I think they
Mahomes
panicked
to 17 points.
Yeah, they panicked bad.
So real quick, Lions only scored 3 in the second half, right?
7. They had 1 touchdown.
Oh, they did. That's right.
That was the garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it technically made it a game, but I don't trust the onside kick with the new rules anymore.
By the way, that wasn't legal. The guy actually touched it under 10 yards.
But you know what's cool? So Kittle recovered it, and he's one. I think in 2021 I saw he had botched an onside kick against the Lions.
Oh wow!
But real quick too on Purdy, he's the first quarterback in the last 30 years in a single half to throw for 150 yards, rush for 45 plus yards, complete 80% of his passes, average 10 plus yards per carry, and record 0 turnovers. I mean, I was even listening to some recaps that one of the Niners podcasts does, and he said, we need a historic second half. You got a historic performance in that second half.
Was it you that sent me, what's his name, changing his story, or did I find that on my own?
Who?
The guy that said
Ryan Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll act like, well, I just wanted to see more. It's like, well, but you literally said.
So the guy called him out. He's a Niners fan. I was watching it. I don't think I finished it. But dude, he played last week, and then he's nobody. However he said it, right? And this week he's like, oh, all of a sudden it's like, and the problem is, the guy goes, the problem is none of us believe him.
Right.
He's ruined his credibility forever on anybody he talks about, not just Purdy. So
Purdy is, and I'd like to, I mean, obviously we're Niners fans, so I'd like to dwell on that a little bit. Is it just, because what I see even from, Rob really likes Nick Wright, and I do like him for a lot of things. And this isn't even about him. His co-star Broussard just never wants to actually come out and he'll be like, he's pretty good, but I won't call him awesome. And it's just this, they don't want to be wrong. So let's just stick with conventional wisdom just in case.
So, it reminds me of a few coaches that are like that, right? Andy Reid. Andy Reid will take 3 every time. He's never going to fake a kick. Rarely, right?
Yeah.
If he did, everybody would have a heart attack, right? And probably it would work because he'd never do it, right? Whereas if you're watching the Lions, I don't know if you saw when they went to punt, Niners put out a real defense. I don't know if you saw that, right?
But they're like, nope, we're not even going to.
This guy's a gambler. He is absolutely, and plus look, there's no tomorrow. If you don't win, you're playing golf, right?
You're in Cancun.
So why not throw all the chips on the table and go, okay, I'm rolling for 4s or something, right?
Yeah, but so actually I should put Purdy and Campbell on our ticker because both of them have seen this flip flop with the media.
Come on, the guy was a genius in the first half and a goat in the second half, doing exactly, by the way, what he's done all year. And by the way, I still think they could have got 1 or more of those 4th downs, and it didn't execute. The guy dropped the ball. The other guy, quote unquote, dropped the ball. In fact, one of the commentators, he dropped the ball. It's like, well, guess what? People drop the ball, get it ripped from them. all of that, right?
On
They
the
dropped
fumble,
interceptions.
on the fumble, the reason that even happened is he went the wrong direction and had the wrong hands on the ball. He never got a clean handoff, so when he didn't really have it secure. But listen, that's the playoffs. That's what it boils down to: is one play, can you capitalize?
What was your favorite? One of you have a great quote about the mistakes you make while you win
Cost you in losses.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's what it boils down to.
And more, and even more when you get into, no room for a turnover. No room.
Right.
I mean that turnover at the end zone. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Kunk. I mean,
listen.
In the yeah.
It's a pet peeve of mine that, especially the Niners, because they got flat out outcoached in the first half, and it's very frustrating to me that week after week after week after week after week after week, I keep saying we're bad against the run, we're bad on the edge, and we do nothing to fix it. Now, to give and to a T, it helps me. I shouldn't say it.
Well,
helps
by the
me.
way, I did not like the defense when they were up by 2 scores either. That was definitely Dan Quinn. By the way, did you see they fired Dan Quinn? But then Jimmy Johnson or Jerry Jones said, if he doesn't get another job, we'll keep him. That's what that's what the quote was. Now I don't know. Look, I'm reading the ticker. The thing that says breaking news, and you click on it, right? It's clickbait usually. But anyway, I thought because they're interviewing Seattle's interviewing somebody's defensive coordinator, and I can't remember who. They're pretty good, whoever they
McDonald?
are. McDonald?
Yeah, because if it's the Ravens guy, that's McDonald.
The Ravens guy. But they've also interviewed 2 OCs, so I hope they pick on OC, honestly.
Yes, they are interviewing, and I think Mike's a good. Obviously, he held.
Well, look, that guy deserves an interview. I'm not. At the end of the day, right? Maybe there's some defensive guys that step. I mean, look at Belichick. That guy's the defensive coordinator. Has been for years. He was with Parcells, right? And some of the defenses he dialed up. Okay, shut down some pretty, he beat Peyton over and over and over again, right? Sadly.
Well, actually, you know what's funny you say that is I didn't know this. Peyton in the playoffs is 3-2 versus Brady. I didn't know that. He actually has a winning record. It seems like he dominated him because of when the wins happened. Right. But on the second half adjustments thing, Wilkes actually did a pretty darn good job doing what I wish he would do. He disguised things. They actually
here's what I'd also tell you: if you watch the film of the defense, they were starting to guess the gaps better.
Yes,
especially the 2 tackles, because in the first half they were getting. It was like they didn't even watch film or something.
Well,
right?
The thing I will say though. Go ahead.
So then their 2 linebackers, right, would have to fill, and they were getting trapped left and right. So I don't know if the Lions. Which is, I don't think they did. I don't think they changed their run blocking scheme much. But it looked like the Niners weren't sure in the first half. I mean, when Bosa was kind of turning around like, how did he, what? Yeah.
See, and that's a frustration for me is, and I get it, the ends aren't really supposed to do while we do it. I watched a guy I really like.
A lot.
They do, but Johnny Dell is a guy I really like, and he does Niners content. And what was supposed to happen is the safety corner are supposed to replace. And they did a terrible job of that. And at one point, one of the safeties got his ankles broken.
Well, who was the guy that they showed getting lost in the middle? And you said it. He's like their backup. Somebody was hurt.
Oren Burks.
The dude was literally lost in the middle of the field.
He made Warner look bad, actually, in a couple plays, because I was like, why is he jumping in that gap? It's because the other guy missed his, so it made Warner look stupid.
So so one of the Lions guys was supposed to be their number 1 target, and he did. I don't even know if he got a throw.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. He, I think, only got like 3.
Well, it was either him or the taller, bigger wideout. I don't remember his name, but he was so wide open because that guy was literally, when they showed the replay from behind the quarterback, he's doing this like circular loop in the middle of the, behind the linebackers, not deep enough, but like completely lost. Like, are we in zone or are we in man? Because here's the other thing they did. I thought they did a phenomenal job when they went to man.
Yeah.
I was very, and by the way, Goff isn't really running, so you can get away with man a little more. If you watch the tape I flipped you, the guy that does the tape stuff, one of the things he talked about is why Purdy was so successful in 2 of those is they were in man.
Yeah.
So they were turning and running, and Purdy's like, and he decided quick, right? He really, the one that he, spun out and then threw to Juszczyk, he didn't run, right? That was just, I'm surprised he still had his helmet when he got done. But
no, that's not.
Anyway, but I really liked when they, and I don't know if they were running zone in the first half. I think they might have been. But they went to man, and then that kind of left Warner and what's his name?
Greenlaw.
50. Yeah, just almost free to go kill somebody. And there was some hitting going on. They were hitting the ball, which I thought was really impressive. And it looked, they weren't. So here's the thing, and I know non-Niner fans are going to go, bull crap. There was so much chippy stuff from the Lions. I was actually kind of surprised. I was very surprised. It was pushing on the pile. There was just like, you don't think we belong here, and it's like, who said that?
Nobody.
Right? Now the Ravens do it all the time. Their defense is famous for being, I'm going to hit you straight in the mouth every time. I may even take a 15-yard penalty. They're like the Steelers, right? Back in the day with Harrison. So if you're going to play, and then of course it depends on the officiating crew, right? If they're going to call it, then the Ravens lighten up a little bit, and they don't. But otherwise, they're taking your head off if they can, right? That's just how they play, right? You got to respect that. They don't change, right? They're not chippy one day and not chippy the next. And by the way, I don't think they even do it like Dominic Sue-ish, right? They're going to just pound you. But when they remember the guy that went through Brock Purdy's helmet with his helmet.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't get called.
And by the way, big bloody lip. Go ahead.
I gotta get Jess real quick. So pause for 10 seconds. You gotta vamp for me for a second.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So, but I did think the Niners defense literally completely changed in the second half. I don't know if they went from certain coverages to another coverage, but they let the linebackers flow to the ball, which is way better. They seem to be in their gaps way better. I think they forced Goff to move off his spot finally, right? Because that guy can just hang out in the pocket for hours if you let him, and he'll deliver the ball. Absolutely. And then, as I said, on the Niners, I think that one of the things they did so well is just being committed to the run. Hey, you got Christian McCaffrey one, and then when he went out after landing on his head and getting a stinger in his neck, I just blanked on his name. That young man got a touchdown out of the deal, which I thought which goes to the offensive line. So, just the second half is look. I know there's Detroit fans that won't like this. The better team won. The first half, Lions come out and punch them straight in the mouth. I mean, and hats off to them. I think the Lions are going to be back next year. I don't see them getting less impressive. I don't see their intensity going down. I think all that experience and chip on your shoulder makes them dangerous. Same thing with Green Bay. But they're both in the NFC North. What I was saying is I said that I really believe the better team won. Now, the Lions fans might not like that. But here's the best news. The Lions are super young, and they're now super hungry. Problem is, so is Green Bay. So in Green Bay. Oh, yeah. Mad wears off.
Well, I mean, like the Niners were really –
No, but let's think – did you see the number of interviews, the number of times they asked the Niners about, you get to face the Miami or Chiefs again. Is there revenge? Is there this? And like, no.
No, but I will say, though, the Niners, it stuck in their craw how things landed last year. So I don't mean like, we need revenge on the Niners. I mean, they might, but I think it'll be more.
Did you think it carried over to the Philly game this year?
If we hadn't crushed them, I think it would have been a little bit different because I think the teams had it circled on their calendar. The Niners, Shanahan clearly went to them and said, "Okay, knock it off. Stop talking about it. It's just another game." And they went, "Oh, okay, boss."
Well, so I played in high school, right? So we had our in city rivalries. I lived in Renton, Washington. We had 3 high schools. We had Renton, which is down in the old part of Renton. So it was very ethnically diverse. They had everybody, Eastern Samoans and African Americans and everybody, right? And then on the hill that I lived on, which is kind of a Boeing hill, was all the blue collar dudes, all the rednecks, right? And it was called Hazen High School. and then on the other hill was Limburg, right? I guarantee you, we circled. Limburg was the ritzy kids, right? Mm-hmm. So we circled that game. I guarantee you, to your point, right? We circled the Renton game because we wanted to win. It wasn't a city championship or anything. It was just the team, right? So I never got. I played in 2 varsity games. I won't go into the whole thing because I was only a sophomore, right? And my sophomore year, our head coach, a guy by the name of Ike Kiefer, actually went to California and became coach of Merritt College and a couple other places. But he was a huge upperclassman kind of guy, right? Mm-hmm. So real quick story. We were doing what I call lines, which is you're all the way across the field and he whistles and you run and you whistle and you go down 3-point stance and you whistle and you run. And he's in the middle and we had, those, the things that go over your jersey tell you what color. So I had blue mm-hmm. or blue was JV, green was varsity. And red was don't hit them or freshman or something. But anyway, so I'm doing anything and everything to be and I'm not the fastest guy in the field, but I'm pretty good out of a 3-point stance, right? I was a linebacker, shouldn't have been, but I was. I had every intention. I wanted my coach to see me, right? So I'm literally, I'm feet from him, 5 feet, 7 feet, and all I ever heard him say was, "Where's my green team? Where's my green team?" And the only guy I wasn't ahead of was a guy by the name of Kevin Bell, who was our starting wideout, who 4'4", 40, right? Yeah. One of 2 black guys, I think, in our entire high school. Was awesome. Him and his younger brother. His younger brother ran track. Anyway, I was doing everything I could do to have him notice me. Not happening, right? So, but to your point about circling games, there was plenty of teams we played. We didn't know who they were, right? It's North Shore. North Shore from where, right? In Pee Wee, we had a couple, right? We did not play in the city league because we were a county. So, but we highlighted Kirkland. Remember I told you about Kirkland Nationals, right? The guys all dressed in black, and then the Kirkland American, which looked like the Dallas Cowboys. But hey, look, every one of those division games are knock down, smack them in the mouth. Look, the Niners could be 10-0 and go up against Cardinals who are 1-9, and Cardinals smack them in the mouth. They know each other so well. They play each other every year, and it's like I'm gonna, you're in the lead. I'm gonna knock you out of there, right? Most of my Seahawks friends would not root for the Niners if it was the only team playing.
We're seeing that a lot. A lot of people rooting for Chiefs just because they don't like the Niners, which. Exactly. I don't even care. I'm like, yeah.
There's a lot of Midwestern guys in Arizona though too, right?
Sure.
I know a lot of Niner fans here. I know a lot of Niner fans, but I also know a ton of Chiefs fans. So, by the way, it's funny for us because we like both teams. I've liked
Kansas City less because they've gotten kind of cocky.
Yes.
And a little bit like very aware of how good they are.
When we want to see what's her name cry, I think I want to see mascara running. Somebody posted.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
I gotta get
pretty funny though.
I gotta get my son a second. You guys, both you and Rob are right. They picked Kansas City. I thought the defense was going to be the difference, and Lamar had matured. That didn't work. So for the Super Bowl, Rob has picked Kansas City, and I don't blame him. If I told him if you gave me $1,000 to bet, I wouldn't be putting it on the Niners.
I'm putting it on Mahomes.
But who do you got?
You know what? I just have a feeling. There's something in me that this is not destiny, not God, blessing Purdy, because there's a bunch of guys that claim faith on both teams, right? So It's God up in heaven going, okay, how many Chiefs are there that are,
like a tally.
There's a sin. There's a sin. He's not winning.
Yeah.
Because we know that's just, for those of us who have some kind of faith, we don't believe that. But I just feel like Niners are going to find a way. I wouldn't, to your point, if somebody gave me $1,000, I think I'd put it on the Niners. I could. But I think Mahomes can absolutely win this thing by himself by a couple of scores.
Sure.
I just don't think he will. I think now, Wilkes has got to coach the best game of his career. I don't think, by the way, the Niners have to be flawless on offense. I'm still not that sold on Chiefs defense, just to be honest with you. So their last 3 games were Chargers, Bungles, and Raiders. Come on.
That's
so
fair.
Don't tell me those are, because the Bills beat them 2 weeks before that. Patriots put 17 on them, and they can't even find a quarterback. You know what I mean? Packers beat them 27-19. So who have they actually played until they got to the Bills? And by the way, the Bills put 24 on them.
Right.
And threw to the wrong team.
Yeah, it's tough because they seem to be peaking at the right time, which is partially them, being veterans, right? Now, again, if you're Baltimore and a fan, you could say, hey, listen, we gave that game away, which same for the Lions. So,
and here's something else. Here's something else kind of weird. Against the Dolphins, right, which was just they put up 26. Okay? Dolphins didn't even show up.
Right.
It's like they didn't even come out of the clubhouse, right? They only put up 14 against the Raiders, of all people.
That was a weird game.
Right? They put up only 13 against the Chargers. Now, end of the season, rested people. Okay, against the Bills in whatever week that is, they put up 17. Against the Packers, they only put up 19, right? Anyway, my point being, look, as you and I have said, it's the weakest NFL. You know, the have-nots suck, right? So, do I think the two best teams right now are playing in the NFC in the Super Bowl? Apparently, look, Chiefs went into Ravenstown and beat them. And I mean beat them. There was never a spot where I thought, they're coming back. Did you ever think that?
Because the two chances they had, they squandered so fast. I was just like, you guys are not composed. You don't have the composure to finish this thing off.
And I was very, and Chiefs were Andy Reid. They were Andy Reid in pads. Not flustered, didn't panic, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Close to the vest. We're going to play this game like pros, right? Anyway, so I don't think it's a coin toss. I think, what are the Chiefs favored by? What's the line now? It's got to be more money. I think they put the line so they get more money from the Chiefs. That's what I think.
It is down to 1.5. The Niners are up by 1.5.
So they're plus 1.5?
Oh, sorry, minus 1.5. That still throws me off.
I still can't understand how they except money. Yeah. It's all money, by the way. I think when they start asking people, they do that where they ask all, Strahan and Jimmy Johnson, they're all going to pick. I don't think any of them pick the Niners.
No, I think you'd have to be just a fan
Howie
of the
Long,
Niners. I'm rooting with my heart. My head says KC. So
no, my heart and my head, I think Niners.
Listen,
I really do.
I've watched 2 Super Bowls and have my heart broken. I am used to it at this point.
I've seen a lot of Super Bowl wins by the Niners.
Yeah, I have not. So
I've seen all the Super Bowl wins by the Niners.
We had to kind of do a quicker show today.
Yep.
We'll be back next week. And what's fun is, I don't think Radio Row is going to have much hoopla because these teams just aren't going to really talk. They're going to be really respectful. It's going to honestly be boring. It'll be way more national media and other people chiming in. That's going to be interesting. So we'll have stuff to talk about, but be kind of the dead week in between, talking about Pro Bowl. The awards are going to be interesting because obviously we're going to announce MVP, and the MVP, I guarantee, is not Purdy or Mahomes or possibly CMC. So it could be someone not playing, which is going to be a little awkward. But on that note, I got to run. Dad, you got a quote for us?
I do. And I don't know who Greg Dortch is. I apologize for not knowing who he is, but he says, good things come to those who work. And hearing how hard Purdy works is encouraging.
Fingers crossed.
By the way, there's like 12 Vince Lombardi quotes in here, and they're all great. So I could have picked a Vince. The only place success comes before work. You remember that one?
Yeah.
The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary.
Nice. Well, yeah, honestly, that's
a favorite Vince.
Super Bowl week, we'll have to do a Lombardi one because it's the Lombardi Trophy. But
for Super Bowl week, we'll have to do the three of us.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. We'll figure that one out. All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
I love you guys. Thanks, everybody.